passive aggression war delta against us as we speak. And the level is hardcore nightmare. It's not just hard nightmare, it's hardcore. Recent dimension could be on comparative, become more of a distortion set, more of an anesthetic spray rather, minor rather. There could be, and whether distortions at the probable of the could be cannibalized cover, or whether it was a recent dimension, catch on to a recent original formulated dimension. Really, it is a vicious around We're getting there's not so many humans left. While the U.S. Marines are fighting, getting shot, like boom, then the torso gets ripped, or this portion gets ripped, and the person they're protecting, fighting for, are resting at their personal palaces, being this number-based gluten boss. Shopping. They call it shopping. Somehow the looters, even the League of Looters, are given a ethnic name. Inventors wouldn't can be providence and kind but not within the origin formula. Before getting on here, right? They're just notification, and remember, recall the siren honking sound. That's what they're honking after. These are relentless. Check out how these treat the wild creatures, and how could it be not some kind of sensational mental? It's an exclusive, identical mass cancer club. We should club them. Out there, our females are more willingly to date these criminals, and soon it becomes there comes another brooding, and soon comes to cut towards our guys and probably dump them onto the or send them to the coast. Not really coast. Just in case, and probably regarding another reason, they are very minor remark, whether remarks could be not so often whether hearing or whether our team here mention very minor remark, whether very recent and since the beginning, or whether recent of very minor or and whether minor, very minor remark. Whether remark to of the whether of the propertized. I could represent a legionnaire, I could be a field commander. There's a lot to be done, guys. I pay considerable amount of it is during this of this plot-ridden nonsense. I pay considerable amount of health or considerable amount of effort, energy, and getting inflicted more, and whether organ, namely of damage visibly, and whether also, namely of whether the word also whether with bracket mark with the word namely. Also, and whether the within bracket or just the word, and whether just mentioned word namely within bracket of some organ damage. It could be some organ damage. Smile to indicate there's a whole set. These are rubbish. All these humanoids are not ours. They're not the bullies. The bullies doesn't want a major advantage. Just being able to speak English language now, or mimicrise. It is more suitable to mimicrise than probably the verb being. We really don't have our guys here anymore. I'm just one guy. How can one guy cancel the 7 billion? We need nukes. We need more and more nukes. Check out each nuke. Suppose with the given perspective, they are here to leech. They stole horses' positions. They are hideous monsters of number-based and weather, also the weather reason of weather number-based gluten bosses. Then what are these new species about? And they have utter no shame, no responsible. Suppose made in China, the products were given to Jennifer Lawrence, namely of numerous other, probably much more suitable. But it becomes tributes to these entities. The factory workers in China will puke. They will each be willing to, without much doctrine needed, they will each grab an AK-40, or whether messages that comes in form of advertisement, also with messages, whether just advertisement, probably with a natural whether default call, with a simple sounding light and whether call towards those, whether a call to those, they would each will be willing to wield a AK-47 directly come and start the military engagement. This stuff is not a opposition of opinions. This is Nazism versus righteous and darkness. Not just righteous and versus righteous versus darkness. Whether recent righteous and darkness, and whether righteous and darkness and versus darkness, and whether recent and whether versus darkness, the power is good. And whether righteous versus darkness, the power also to review from whether the power to review the power also whether the power to review from whether first of the power to review. That righteous and darkness together fight towards this common foe. We don't have a planet anymore. We don't have countries left. Check the demographics, and in the intellectual class, we only have these wussies that have the surrender strength. They keep preaching to us at the function level. They do. If they deny it, that's being sugar terrorism right there in the instance, already proven by itself that those are sugar terrorists. No response. We doesn't understand what sense it is. It's being of hell, it's being the actual them. And they're not willing to do it. Numerous our guys are out there constructing great sentences, and let's get lots of successful points, but this very success is defined by Nazis, the monkey, even apes, and what the monkeys don't applaud for this as much. We're endowed with a Nazi elective force that uses its quiz game and no longer is living, but rather considers what will keep it alive, or rather keep it existing, while it's tagged on with a similar word, alive. None of the builders of civilization would, whether the inventors of invented, whether the persons that build stuff and has started lots of the whether values and transcripts and schematics, or whether the script which enables a lot the Nazi to maneuver, to Nazis to move, or whether there are a lot of the stuff out there, the items, etc., or rather infrastructures, a lot of the whether a lot of the built stuff wouldn't remotely act like this, and the ones that do act like this aren't remotely, whether aren't possible, whether aren't whether are not. Our guys are not inventors, no remotely could be inventors' friends. The 7 billion cancer is not excellent. It gotten here, written a generalization to probability. So some kind of orchestration, and with it gotten there from brutalness. It gotten there from terrorism. Not out of some excellence. It doesn't have to work hard and simply obtain those. It seems to be a whether probable, and it was minor instead of whether minor. Rather, this whether some sort of order, whether some order, whether some type similar to, whether the probable could be named of some type, not from. These doesn't have to work hard and receive, or whether receive welfare. Then consider amount of tributes for these number-based gluten bosses, and whether the amount of tributes to the cancerists. It comes from some type of order. recent mention of whether recent mention of if recent wasn't also made enough whether major cover of whether recent of then not to provide a considerable amount of providence, or whether not to be providence, or whether to providence, whether not to provide a considerable amount of words. I would like to start doing this humor format. It really has nothing to do with how humans used to behave. We entered a different age. These Nazis are monstrous. The visitation, these are all mimicries. They are willing to sacrifice, they're willing to burn, they're willing to suffocate towards romance. That's how much they actually pull its own hijacked fugitives to ruin its own, to inflict towards us. Given the experiences when in the middle of a sentence suddenly somebody started screeching and having to speak about certain content, now who will do that? But these keep relentless towards our guys. I may be more immune to it. Some of our guys may are scarred by this, and they will end up keep on operating in that fashion. And sometimes it will be much of course again. That's how much the Nazism bothers to influence. We need to microwave these into ovens that I'm willing to build, and I would like to personally, whether instead, it's not really so different opposed to microwave option, but instead I would like to personally fillet them onto CNN, onto various venues, onto the next Olympic stadium. This stuff is major crisis. If I'm gone, if I didn't make through with a PDF file, this earth is completely gone, and rest of the creature cannot protect themselves. Soon all the lions will be shot. They don't shoot them all yet, because it will send alarmism, and it's maybe out of its capabilities reach. Suppose it had the capability, then what happens? It could easily obtain by threatening more modernity and puppets, resulting negligence of the lions. Suppose a disease comes and some pollution of a river, then hundreds of lions could falter. It treats life like nothing, but they keep staying here. Keep staying. While there's 7 billion somehow reached managed. So in this effort, which is almost like the same thing they should also dismiss towards, still manage to perform. Should we nuke them? It's not just one nuke, but with 2 nukes, with 3 nukes, 4 nukes, lickety onto the rocket planes and send some chemical weapons also along with. As it's whether it's much more representative and much more suitable from weather matching efforts than weather efforts, and whether the reason of matching and whether also whether at first like desserts and main course meal, like similar to having a large dinner, or whether dinner and then there are complementaries, and the proportion of the chemicals, it depends on the situation, and the decisions depends on the results. What outcomes and what the form. Reason of minor, whether moderate, and whether to both, and whether to probable to be of, and whether reason to probable, and whether to probable to be of the probable to also to be of, and whether to probable to be. If a large portion of chemical weapons, then it may be named as complementary, could be described to more of than entree, while suppose it was probably more of entree one. Sometimes the chemical weapon may be the main course or also another main course. Maybe it's an obese person that would like it, that's really on its chum day, and would like to order both. 7 billion, this is my declaration war to you. If you fuss around more, what's gonna happen is you'll be personally executed. That's more so of a message for Gorms. And the extremists of Gorms probably also not so much to zombies. These have no sense. It doesn't even check news. It wouldn't even understand what I mentioned. Well, or whether what the message is mentioned, not even with the word whether because it's actually different word. Like how the verb associated with it. When the looter is shopping, that's not shopping, that's dramatism as shopping, and involve, and probably could be upon which, and whether furthermore, whether more of additional, and whether more of mentions, and whether descriptions also associated with the